Hello and welcome back to our weekly live. Hi Vishal, how are you today?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm back in office today. So yeah, excited.
Amazing. So, how was your week so far? Are there anything's happened with a client or with your experience in the last week that you feel okay? I could share this because this is basically a topic that comes up all the time and that could really help um, the one who are watching us today.
Yeah, I measured a couple of properties this week. One was in Manchester, which was pretty straightforward on that one. But the one which I can possibly share with you is working with a client. She wants to have a single story rear extension. And yeah, I was just, she said yes for the project. I went to take the measurements. While I was just taking the measurements, she just asked me a quick question. She said, looking to add another fifth bedroom in the house. Okay, so I'm looking to go into the loft. Okay, uh, and she asked me saying, "Is there something you can do?" I'm like, "Yes." I said, "You not talked about this before," and she's like, "Yeah, but it's something which we would look to do in the future." So then I explained her the process that what would that be. If you actually, so the planning application fee you pay to the council is about £650. On that application fee, you can put a single story extension, two-story extension, loft conversion, porch, garage conversion, outbuilding, everything. The fees will not change. So what I have advised her, even if she is not looking to do the work now, she wants to concentrate on having the ground floor extension. While we're doing this drawing work, you get the drawings for the loft conversion and she wants to do a little bit of work on the front as well. Do all of that permission now, because once the drawings are approved, you have 3 years to start the work. Then you can go ahead and do the work in the future. And by just this advice, she will be saving, say, about between 2 to 3 grand in the professional fees and the council fees and all that stuff. So it's a big saving. So I recommend people to, if they're looking to do some more work in the house, not right now, in the near future, and if you are in a process of getting the drawings done, make sure you put all of them all together.
This is a great example because I remember that we talked about this last week as well,
Yeah.
when you advised them to, in order to save money. And now we have basically a clearer number as well. Just
Yeah.
with this example, it's really great. So I guess she was really happy that you that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
already offered her this.
Yeah, so I've explained that what the changes will be and things, and so I've just left the ball in her court, and she decided that she wants to do that. We're on a very early stage of her project anyway, so we just taken the measurement. So if she wants to jump on that thing, we can definitely help her out on that.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Since we last time spoke a lot about the planning and the cost and what you can do, there is one point the builder comes in.
yeah,
So, and then I don't want to say the real work starts, but then for the people living in the house, basically, they feel the difference.
yeah.
And now for them, the stressful time begins when the house is changing and you have to adapt. Where do you see the risk when, as soon as the builder is coming in? So does your work end with basically giving the planning, the permission and everything, and then you go away and say, have fun with the builder? Or like, how do I have to imagine to work with you then when the builder comes in and they build after your drawings?
Yeah. Look, I would say we offer the service which call as a project management or a handheld service, what we sometimes we name that as well, is we will be a point of contact between the client and the builder. Because look, our professional responsibility finishes when the building controls drawings get done and the client is ready to appoint a builder. And after that, the building control from the council, they take care of it, and the builder is mostly them get in charge in there. But what happens in lots of projects is the builder will say, "Oh, if I do this, if I don't do follow this drawing, if I don't take this wall down, it will be cheaper," and they start changing the design. Okay, and that's where the problem comes, because building control doesn't care as long as you built it to the current regulation, it's fine. But those changes, are they actually what the client actually wants? Okay, and what I've personally seen some of my projects when I went to see the project later on, saying, "Why you left this wall around here?" I'm like, "Oh, builder said it will be cheaper." I'm like, "Oh no, But do you remember we talked about you wanted to put this piece of furniture there? That's the reason we took this out. Yeah, but builders convinced me saying it will be cheaper. I'm like, no, don't do that. So yes, so my responsibility comes in. So we can have the client to liaise the project on site as well. So if the contractor wants to do any of these changes, okay, we'll be there to explain to the client that okay, we're doing this, and these are the advantages, these are the disadvantages. And very pure example, we were doing a loft conversion project. It was about 4 or 5 years ago. Massive loft conversion, walking wardrobe, ensuite, big master bedroom, and the builder did not want to cut out the hole where we actually coming in from the ground or from the first floor, and we had a whole glass balustrade detail around, and so. And he says, "Oh, if you do this, it will be cheaper." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. We're not going to do that because the client wants this." And he says, "Oh, no, no, it will be cheap." I said, "Look, this is what it is, and the structural drawing's been done, so there's no problem with the design. You just need to do a little bit more work to get that." And he was like, "Okay, yeah, we'll do it then." So it did. And over there was when we actually were discussing with the client, a bookshelf needed to go there. If the builder would have done that, the client would have not had that bookshelf walking into the room. This is what his vision was. So I'm glad I was there on site, and I told the builder, no, you have to, step back, and you need to do that. So yeah, so we can help the clients to making sure the project is getting delivered on the site how they have planned it with me.
And like when you're explaining this and sharing the story how that works, like it reminds me really a lot on taking on the ownership to get things done, because I have the feeling like, and it might be a little bit different than how I experienced that in Germany, obviously, because we have different regulations and a different process running through. But I have the feeling the builder here have a lot of power to convince owners how to make the things happen, which is not the case in Germany, how I experienced that. Especially when it comes to that the architect is coming in, because the architect always have the eye on the project. But as well, like obviously you have a surveyor and they're coming to, you call it here, this, how do you call it here? The legal part who controls everything is...
the building control.
Yeah, the building control, exactly. So I would say like that's a different thing, because they are not sent by the city, but they are basically freelancers. And I did this one or the other time because I worked as one of them.
Yeah.
So but the task was not to see like if this if the builder is building after what the architect and the owner were agreeing to, but if it's basically following the rules and the building rules and everything is proper, measured, and there is no mess with the cables and all things like that. We have the right amount on the switches and all the things like that.
Yeah.
So here, just to get my question across, here I have the feeling that if the owner isn't sure enough, then they are love to give the ownership to the builder or to somebody or the building control, and they don't directly call the architect or make sure that the plans they have and they paid for already are really basically taking place with the builder as well. So how can you explain me a little bit how this process works, and if it's really how I have the feeling, or why are they so rely on the builder to get the things done if they paid already for having the drawings?
Yeah. Look, if you're working on a commercial project, this will not happen because you will always have a project manager, a QS will be involved in. So contractor will not be allowed to change the design because everything needs to go through a proper process before you actually do the changes. So the contractor, whatever the code has given, they need to follow that and deliver that. But in a residential project, it doesn't happen because they are they say about below £100,000 project, and clients sometimes don't want to have a project manager on board, and he takes the responsibility on himself. But the problem is because he's taken the responsibility to manage it, but he don't have a knowledge. Yeah. So when a contractor comes on the site and say, "Oh, if you don't take this wall down, oh, it will save you £2,000," The client does not have any knowledge of that at all. And he's just going to see a big figure of £2,000 and going to say, oh,
Yeah.
if I save this £2,000, I can get a new bathroom upstairs. Yeah. If I save this, I might just have not have a laminate flooring. I might just go with a tile flooring or something. So those figures just comes to the client head, and they make a decision based on what they are advising, without any proof that, if you do take this wall down, why is it going to cost you £2,000? And initially, when we actually designed with the client, what was the reason of taking this wall down was. Yeah. But if somebody is actually on board with them, they will be able to communicate that to the client. And sometimes, I'm not saying that, builder, what he's saying is wrong, because sometimes you feel like, oh, hang on, if you don't take this down, yes, you will save money because it's got some different sort of a foundation underneath, or something else is around there, which we can actually value engineering and save the money to the client. But then we can communicate that directly to the client and explain the client, if you're doing this, yes, we are definitely saving. And if you do that, these are the consequences will be and thing. But if you're not around, then there's no one professionally there to communicate that to the client.
Yeah.
Building control, which we have talked about before, is building control does not care what goes internally. They only care about make sure the building stands, okay, and it's been built with the regulation.
Yeah.
Don't want to take the wall down. If you take the wall down, it does not matter. If you take the wall down, make sure it's supported back. That's what they care for.
Yeah.
So if the design does change, okay, they don't care. They're like, okay, fine, it's changed. Just give us a new calculation later on, which a structural engineer will do something with that. But that's it.
I think it really comes down to who do you choose to have in your corner, because every person in this project has a different perspective. And obviously the builder is not the bad person here. And I didn't want to bring that across, that the builder is the bad person who makes who tries to make less work to save money or whatever. But sometimes, obviously, the builder has a different perspective and he wants to do something good and save money. And if the owner isn't secure enough or doesn't remember, because I guess like there's a long timeline in between as well, while they talk to you and make these decisions and they might not remember, then they just see the number. So they make a decision based on fear and based on price or savings, whatever. And they say, oh God, I could save £2,000. That's a lot of money. So and that can lead to a different outcome, which you actually don't want. So basically, it's always recommended to have somebody in your corner that understands you and can translate and see the pros and cons and be basically objective in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely bang on that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I have one or two stories in my head as well in the past, like how this happened. So it's always good to have basically somebody in your corner and who has the full, I would say, the view from the outside, because as I said, like everybody has a different perspective, and they have, based on their perspective, they mean good, and sometimes the owner or the person who wants to make this project, it doesn't have to be the owner, but who wants to bring this forward, doesn't really understand the intention of each person and how this brings it together. So it's really good to have somebody who is professional and sees it from the outside to translate between all of the people that are involved in the project.
Yeah. No, it reminds me of a project we actually done during the COVID. It's a small single-story extension, beautiful living extension, all rendered and everything. So we done the plans for it, got it approval, got the building control. And when it comes to choosing a builder, okay, I work with a few builders and I send them across, and the quote comes at something around 55, 60K. And he found a builder from London who wants to come up north and do this work. And he quoted 25,000. And I'm like, that is just not a realistic figure. What are you doing? And he said, no, he's a good builder. And he's done quite a lot of work there. He just come and do it. And oh my God, he did not follow a single thing from my drawing. We had a pitch roof on it. He put a flat roof. Insulation was on the wrong side. It needed to be a warm roof. He put a cold roof. And he finished the whole project without getting involved with the building control. literally in about 6 weeks, he built everything. And the building control came on site and says, no, that's all wrong.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, and I went
What
to see
happened then?
the builder's gone. I'm like, that while I'm inside inside, I could see through the roof, I can see the daylight. There's like a hole through. I'm like, what is this? What did he actually build? He's a very good builder in London. I'm like, but this is not London. Even that, it doesn't apply in London. Yeah. So yeah. So he asked me to involve with the building control to see what we can do with this project. Okay. But it's going to be a nightmare because he's gone too much far on the project, and that £25,000 he's already spent on it, I can't see that recovering from anywhere. To get that right, it's going to cost him double that.
Saving on the wrong
Absolutely.
things, basically. Yeah. I can rely on that. And you told me as well that you can help people if they are choosing a builder and they want to compare the quotes and make sure everything is in, because like that could be really a nightmare depending on how big the project is, to make sure everything is in the quote and that you have basically the best estimated price at the end. You help with this too?
Yes, absolutely we do. So we can compare that, because sometimes the builders includes the kitchen supply and fit. Sometimes they don't include the kitchen. They just only quote for the fitting and rely on the kitchen. So if you look at the final figure, which says 75,000 or somebody says 85,000, it's not the 75,000 is cheaper. We just need to make sure you check the code that what is included, what is not included. It might be £85,000 one is cheaper because it includes each and everything on it. So it's very, you just need to do your work properly to understand what it is, and we can actually help with that.
How are the payment plans here with the builders? Because I know that, and I guess it's the same here, that you don't pay everything up front or not pay anything at the end. So what are the payment plan steps here when you do an extension? What is the standard?
Look, all the builders will have something very, very differently. Okay. I think to start of the project, yes, contractor will be requiring a deposit because it's for them to secure the project, which is usually between 5 to 10%. Okay. If a builder is asking 25 to 30% upfront, something is not right there. Yeah. Until unless they actually have an explanation that why they need that much money upfront. Okay. But I think to secure a project, a builder will be requiring 5 to 10% upfront. And I know a few builders, they don't invoice to the client until the end of 4 weeks, which is the 1 month, and then they invoice the first 15% or 20%, whatever that is. So some of them do not even take the deposit. But even some people who do take deposit, it's absolutely fine. But make sure all the paperwork and everything is done properly. You're not just paying the money in their personal account or something. So making sure you check the bank details when you're sending the payments and so.
And then there are different progress levels where you can check and then pay the money in the next step, or how does it work?
Yes. So after that, it's usually when the foundation is done, then you have another payment of 15-20%, whatever that is, and then until you get to your floor, the floor is done. Then you have another payment. Then up to the roof level, then you have the second and the third payment. Then the first fix, second fixed. And usually what we usually see is the 5% is a hold off deposit. So the hold off of the entire project. And you release that once the building control certificate is finalized or is been issued.
Okay. Are there any with the timing wise as well? And I see already we are already like hitting almost the 20 minutes. Okay. So with the building control, is that like how long do you take to get a meeting for them on site? Do you have already to do plans in advance, like 2 to 3 weeks, or do you have to say 4 weeks in advance? Okay, might be a appointment needed in 4 weeks. When is the best time for it?
Yeah, I think the process is once the planning application is approved, we produce the building control drawings. We'll submit them to the council, and the council takes about 10 working days to approve them. If they have any questions or any amendments, they will ask us that. We will give them. But after that, it's down to the builder, or if we are involved in the project, we will liaise with the building control. And you can actually request a site visit within 24 hours. So if I know that I will be ready digging the foundation out on site for tomorrow, I can ring the building control today and ask them to come. So they will. So within
This is
24
fast.
hours. Yeah.
Okay, this is fast because they rely on the money, so they can have basically they have the
Yeah. So building control.
short life.
Yeah, absolutely. Building control will come to on a project typically 4 to 5, say about 5 to 6 times during the span of the project. So first one is when you actually dig the foundation, they'll come and check the soil, making sure it's good enough to take the load of the story what you're putting on. If not, then they advise you to go a little bit more deeper or whatever. So that, they're allowed to have that change. And then they say once you come to a DPC level, which is your, where you start doing the engineering brick, come and ask us to come and have a look at that again. And then once you put the roof on, before you're doing the plastering, okay, they want to see what sort of insulation you have put it in correctly and so and so. And then after that, they do it, which is the final one. Once all the electrical and everything else is all done, dusted, they come and do the final check.
Okay, thank you very much. I have few more questions on when it comes to building and builder control and all the things like that. So, but I would say we do this the next time.
Absolutely.
And if you're listening to that and think, okay, I have a question about this, and this we did not talk about it yet, and you want to have it answered the next time, please comment us or comment below the video, write us an email or call us, and we make sure that we cover these questions in our next Q&A next week. Thank you so much. Have a great
Thank you.
day. See you.